it well clear of the vessel. Ensure also that this is the only thing which you throw overboard. All rubbish must be placed in the bins provided or taken ashore. Finally, as with all our public sailings, there is to be no smoking on any part of this boat. We thank you for your cooperation, and if you have any questions or if there is anything we can do to make your trip more enjoyable, please do not hesitate to ask a member of staff. We have a well-stocked bar on board, situated at the lower deck towards the rear of the boat. This will be open throughout this trip, selling a range of wines, beers, spirits, as well as soft drinks, tea, coffee, hot chocolate and light snacks. We also have special promotions from time to time, so please ask about these. For instance, 2 or more of you may wish to share a jug of Thames, the perfect traditional drink to enjoy on the river. There's no need to leave your seat, as a member of staff will be making their way around the boat shortly, taking orders for drinks which can then be brought to you. If you have a tariff, you can write your order down on this and tear it off the comments section, then give it to a member of staff. We're now leaving the centre of Windsor to our left, while on the opposite bank to our right is Eton, with some of the Eton College boathouses lining the waterfront. Rowing is a popular activity at Eton, the boys choosing either that or cricket as their summer sport. Those who choose cricket are known as dry bobs, whilst the rowers are called wet bobs. We're now proceeding upstream on the River Thames, which takes us in a roughly westerly direction. This would lead eventually to Oxford and beyond, though to reach Oxford would take approximately 2 days by river from here. This is mainly due to the 23 locks between here and the middle of Oxford, each one taking up to half an hour to negotiate on a busy day. There is a speed limit on the Upper Thames of a little under 5 miles an hour, added to which the Thames takes a very meandering course, so all in all it's not the place to be if you're in too much of a hurry. To our left is Jacob's Island, formerly called Corporation Island. It was renamed after a well-known local councillor and boat builder called Arthur Jacobs. It was here that some of the largest wooden boats, almost twice the length of this one, were built in the now dismantled and long-forgotten boat houses and slipways of the Jacobs Yard. As we proceed past Brockhurst Meadows to our right, some of the Eton College buildings become visible, as do the spires of Eton College Chapel, which is built in an almost identical style to St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. It's known as the perpendicular Gothic style of architecture. Eton College was founded in 1440 by King Henry VI, originally naming it the King's College of Our Lady of Eton beside Windsor. Incidentally, the college owns all the land on our right-hand side, from here to well beyond our turnaround point. They're in fact the second largest landowner in the country after the Crown, owning land in nearly every county. This is partly due to parents of Eton boys having donated land to the college in order to offset fees. Through the trees to our left shortly we will see a full-size replica of a Hawker Hurricane fighter plane. This is a memorial to its designer, Sir Sidney Camp, whose former home stands a few hundred yards beyond. This plane bears the markings of one flown in the Battle of Britain by Squadron Leader John Grandy, who was Constable and Governor of Windsor Castle from 1978 to 1988. Sir Sidney Camp was a pupil of Royal Free School in Windsor. During this time he designed and built model aeroplanes which he then sold to the boys of Eton College. Whilst the Hurricane was his best known aircraft, Cam also designed the Hunter in 1951, which in 1953 went on to break the world speed record of 727 miles per hour. Cam's final design was the Harrier, which remained in RAF service for 50 years until 2010, and it is still flown by the US Marines as the AV-8B. Ahead of us is the Windsor Railway Bridge, being one of several across the Thames designed by Isabella Brunel, a famous Victorian engineer. The bridge was built for Queen Victoria, and it brought the Great Western Railway network right up to the front of Windsor Castle. The design of this bridge was unique in its day, as with many of the railway designs. This one because the 187-foot central span is not secured to the sides in any way. It simply rests there under its own weight on 6 bearings, allowing for expansion and contraction of the ironworks during temperature changes. This type of span is known as a bowstring arch, and the brick viaduct was constructed between 1861 and 1865, replacing an original wooden trestle structure. The arches were incorporated into the design to prevent floodwater from being trapped on the upstream side in the event of the Thames bursting its banks. It's also believed to be Brunel's oldest surviving structure still in continuous use, and was granted Grade 2 listed status in 1975. In 1883, Windsor Central Station became part of the London Underground network, when the District Line was extended from Ealing Broadway to Windsor, using the tracks of the Great Western Railway. However, this was short-lived, as the service was withdrawn in 1885. The land to our left forms part of Bard's Island, so called because in the days before Windsor had a purpose-built swimming pool. The channel behind the island was closed to boats during the summer months, providing the people of Windsor with a safe swimming area. In 1870, Queen Victoria disapproved of the sight of bathers from the royal train and had them moved to the downstream end of the island. Then in 1904, the area by the railway was used again, but this time with men on the downstream side of the bridge at the eastern baths and ladies upstream in the western baths. To our left is the Windsor Leisure Centre, being the current incarnation of Windsor's swimming facility. It replaces an earlier outdoor pool. The centre stands on the site of the once famous Ricky Tick Club of the 1960s. The Ricky Tick was a well-known live music venue in its day. It started out at the Hart and Garter Hotel opposite Windsor Castle in 1962, before moving to a semi-derelict mansion on this site called Clura Meads in 1964. Many of today's major acts, such as The Who, the Rolling Stones, Stevie Wonder and Pink Floyd, made some of their early appearances here, and it was at the Ricky Tick that the previously unheard of Jimi Hendrix made his UK debut. Sometimes we see boats on the Thames with interesting histories, in particular those which took part in Operation Dynamo in 1940. These are the Dunkirk little ships. Operation Dynamo lasted 9 days and resulted in over a third of a million Allied troops being rescued from the beaches of Dunkirk on the coast of northern France, where they had become surrounded by German forces. The operation was planned by Vice Admiral Ramsey, who sent out an appeal to private boat owners and operators of small commercial craft who could get close to the shore. Around 800 boats were hastily assembled, of which about 150 are still in existence, some having been restored to a very high standard. Often being of wooden construction, these little ships can usually be recognised by a small brass plaque on the wheelhouse, inscribed Dunkirk 1940. They may also fly the flag of the Association of Dunkirk Little Ships, which is the cross of St George with the crest of Dunkirk in the centre. We're now passing Whitelilies Island to our left. The name is misleading as it is in fact a plot of land forming the downstream end of a much larger island. This plot was sold for development by the owners of Clura Boatyard in 1957 for £7,000. The land and 5 houses on it are now estimated to be worth well in excess of 20 million. Past residents include the Australian singer and actress Natalie Imbruglia, who in fact called one of her albums Whitelilies Island.
See penguins away in the pool. Where's penguins are? Where's the penguins?
Нет пингвинов. Нет пингвинов. Где
To our
пингвины?
right, we're about to round Kill Point,
Зоопарки
which forms one of the
остались.
sharpest bends on this part of the river. For this reason, there is a heavy iron post set into the ground near the end of the point. It's called a strapping or turning post and goes back to the days of horse-drawn barges. As the barges approach the point, the tow rope would be taken off the horse and a few turns made around the post. This would allow the barge to swing safely around the point under its own momentum in a pendulum-like motion. Had they not done this, the barge would have continued on in a straight line towards the opposite bank, probably pulling the unfortunate horse in behind it. Through the trees to our left is Windsor Racecourse. We will see more of this at various stages right up to our turnaround point. We're currently passing the area behind the grandstand. Racing began here at Windsor in 1866 and continues on to this day with regular Monday evening meetings and some weekends throughout the summer. We're now rounding a bend called Upper Hope, and just beyond these trees to our left is the parade ring of Windsor Racecourse. This course is unique in that it stands entirely on an island. It's called Ray's Island and it's in fact the largest on the Upper Thames, being about a mile long. The only Thames island longer than this one is Canby Island on the Thames estuary beyond London. It's also one of only 2 figure-of-8 courses in the country, the track having been laid out in this way in order to fit the required length of track into the limited space offered by the island.
That's a mega tree.
Супер, да? Яхта? Много яхта, Настя?
Ты можешь?
Да? Давай, Настя. Вот такое Настя имеет приключение сейчас, да? Нравится тебе? А все, не обливаться только, хорошо? Лодочки хорошо, потому что сегодня очень экстремально горячо. И хорошо, что нам удалось поехать на путешествие лодочкой. Конечно же, если вы едете рекой Тэмзе по Лондону, намного интереснее экскурсия, потому что, сами понимаете, там можно и травы увидеть, и вещи, интересные. Но если говорить о Виндзоре, не слишком много можно увидеть. Это более такая природа, как видите. Да, Настя? Природа. Хорошо, Настя. Давайте сделаем это в двух частях, да? Пока не увидим что-то такое интересное на горизонте, да? Нехорошо поступаешь, не разбрасываем еду. Пока не увидим ничего такого очень интересного, да? Перервем наш фильм, да? А потом, когда что-то интересное будет на горизонте, сделаем вторую часть этого видео, да? Хорошая идея, Настя? Скажи, пишите, пожалуйста, комментарии, подписывайтесь, пожалуйста, и будем с вами дружить. Скажи пока-пока.